this is McInerney's. He had 2 bars. This is one of them. It's kind of amusing. I knew some of these McInerney girls, and I talked to them from time to time to get information on the saloons. And they said, you know, it's funny. My dad used to run. He'd deliver liquor by the case to people. And he said sometimes he'd get a call for a case of bourbon, a case of scotch, a case of gin, and please bring it out after dark in an unmarked vehicle. So you can see the situation is entirely different from it is today. Then the Prohibition hit. It hit Iowa in 1916 and the state in 1919. It only was debated one day in Congress. But anyhow, the whole nation went dry in 1919. And then there wasn't very good enforcement because no one was very much in favor of it. But the only time there was any major raid was when they got the stills got to fighting among themselves and one reported the other. In this case, the Dingleberry still was 4 miles straight north of the Highland and a mile east of the Solon Road. And so they went out and made the raid, and that's Charlie Bochek on the right, Sheriff Smith on the extreme left, Don McComas, and Curly Furman. The other man from Pearl, I can't think of his name. But you can see the coils that they used. And they called their brew, it wasn't brew, it was distillation. It was whiskey. They called it Dingleberry Dew or White Lightning. All these people that I talked to that lived out in that area could tell me all about it, but never one of them would ever admit they had tasted Dingleberry Dew. The Ingrid Brewery was on Market Street, and this house was built right adjacent to the brewery at 321 Market. It's now at 320 Jefferson Street. Well, they wanted, they needed more space for the brewery, and they also had a wood and lumber business. So they decided to move the house over, and so they did. They turned it around and put it on Jefferson Street at 320. And it's now Dr. Dull residence. That's Mrs. Dull in the foreground. It's a lovely place, built way back in 1850, I believe, and that's the dining room. Look at the colored glass. I think that's on one of the tours, one of the houses on the tours. And it's rather interesting that before the men, they had this big ice business in Iowa City, and every morning the men would come up to start their ice routes. But the first thing, they always had breakfast at the Ingrid house before they went out on their routes. I don't know what that proves, it's just evidence. Oh, now this is the Ingrid Theater. I don't know why, sometimes that doesn't come up properly. But it's the Ingrid Theater, built in 1912 by one of the Ingrids that had lived in this house. And the Ingrid Theater was built in 1912. It was a legitimate theater. It wasn't a movie house. They did play some vaudeville, but the greatest talent in the world played there, including Sarah Bernhardt. She played there in April 1915. Sarah Bernhardt, the greatest actress of all time. There was this legend that she was born in Rochester, Iowa, 20 miles east of here. And the people over there swear to this day that she was buried there. And when she played Iowa City, she was 70 years old. She'd had one of them amputated, but she was still a great actress and very temperamental. And she always was creating quite a stir wherever she went. But the night, and she always traveled in 2 special cars with her troupe. And the night they left Iowa City, they hooked these 2 cars onto the midnight train to Chicago. When they got to West Liberty, they unhooked these 2 cars. They lifted Sarah Bernhardt out and put her into a Surrey. They drove the Surrey 6 miles north to Rochester. She stopped in front of the house where she was supposed to be born, her mother's home. Then she went out to the Rochester Cemetery in about a mile east of Rochester, and she put these 24 red roses on her mother's grave. And this is supposed to be the grave where Sarah Bernhardt's mother was buried. That's Jan Kohler. He and I were out there looking around one time. The people in Rochester gave us instructions just how to find it. I don't know that they were real sure themselves. Anyhow, there were 6 of them out there by the time we got out there. And so they finally showed us this place. It's all in fenced there. The Finefield graves is where Sarah Bernhardt's mother was buried. I read Cornelia Otis Skinner's biography of Sarah Bernhardt. It's really spicy reading, and actually she was the illegitimate daughter of a Parisian milliner who had taken up a more lucrative profession later in life. But incidentally, if you in the spring, it's worth driving over and looking around that cemetery. It's still the virgin territory. There's a little bit that's mowed, but most of it is just grown up. So it's worth going over and taking a look around. The day that I was there earlier, the people said, "Have you seen the dog and the duck?" I said, "What do you mean, the dog and the duck?" "Well, there's a dog and a duck in town that are great friends. Wherever the dog goes, the duck goes." And so I had quite a time getting a picture of them. But when the duck goes swimming, the dog goes along and goes swimming. So this is the picture. I don't know what I put this in. There's no history connection.
There will be in another 100 years.
Pardon me?
There will be in another 100 years.
Oh. Let's take a look at my time. This is the Terrell Dam. This is North Dubuque Street. The Mayflower Apartments are right to the right of that of the grist mill up there. That was built in 1843. That was the first dam in the Iowa River. Dubuque Street was always a busy thoroughfare going out of town, and this is what the Terrell Mansion looked like. It was built in 1851. Some of you real old Iowa citizens, maybe not as old as I, but the Red Ball Inn was out there, and it was a fine supper club. Then it later became the Mayflower Inn, and when it was the Red Ball, there was no liquor served, but later, when it was the Mayflower, of course, then it became sort of a nightclub. But that was a beautiful place and a great eating establishment. It was there until just, maybe 10 years ago, when they tore it down to build the Mayflower Apartments. And this is the dam at Coralville, built in 1844. That's now the Iowa River Powerhouse Restaurant. You used to be able to walk out on this bridge over the dam, which I did when I took this picture. This is another one taken from the Powerhouse Restaurant. Me standing there with the dam in the background. And this is the Coralville economy as it was in 1844. The dam was 13 feet high. It was higher than the Terrell Dam. And that was a grist mill on the right, the paper mill, the smokestack, the oatmeal mill. I guess that was the start of the quick roads on the left. Well, there were a lot of factories there. It was really quite a booming economy. And we don't have time for this. This is an interesting story about this launch up there. I got too many things to show you. I don't want to do that. This is the bathing beach, Rocky Shore Drive. You know where Rocky Shore Drive is? Well, that's what we had for a bathing beach in 1920. 2021. We had lots of fun out there. It was really, the river water wasn't very good, but the beach was fair. And every year the bathhouse got washed away, and they go. That's Henry Prentice, the lifeguard, standing there, the tall one on the first raft. He was quite an athlete, obviously, high school and at the university. His father was a doctor in college in medicine.